You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's Halt and Catch Fire After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Halt and Catch Fire After Show.
Hey there, Halt and Catch Fire fans. What's going on? Welcome to AfterBuzz TV at the Halt and Catch Fire After Show. We're talking about Season 1, Episode 4, Close to the Metal. I'm Matt Lieberman. Joining me as always, fantastic panels here. Yael Tyygiel's here.
Hi, everybody.
Isaac Johnson's here.
Hello, everyone.
Jessie Klein is here.
What's up?
And we have a very special guest today, Bianca Malinowski. Yes. Who plays Debbie on the show.
Way to go, Matt.
Welcome, welcome. We're so glad that you're here. Yeah.
Isaac, could you please clap? Thank you. Thank you.
So, gang, you know, a very different kind of episode, I think, for the show so far. I'm very anxious to hear how you feel about it. I think it sets up a lot of very interesting conflict that's going to play out over the rest of the season, and we're out of the BIOS phase.
Yeah.
We're going to be moving into the next phase of development, which is crazy exciting. We got a beat-em-up for poor Joe McMillan. I guess the Texans don't like Yankees. We got some crazy Brian. We're going to break it all down for you. Let's just start at the top. We broke the dherty threshold. Yeah. We got our first kind of working prototype of the PC. We have enough of the BIOS written that we can put a motherboard in mineral oil, cool it down,
In a fish tank.
and and overclock it so that we can make this thing work. And you know, I love this concept of the dherty threshold. I'd never heard of it.
It is a made-up thing. It's not an actual thing.
What?
Yeah, it's a
You
made-up
looked
thing.
into it?
Yeah, I looked into it. It's not a real thing.
You researched it.
I did some
seriously?
research. I'm serious. I'm not joking.
Why would they make that up? That seems so strange to me.
You might be surprised to find this out, but this show is fictional. Cardiff Electric
What?
also does not exist.
Well, that doesn't surprise me,
That surprises
but to introduce a term like that and to have it be completely fictional, so interesting.
Well, there's a couple terms like that, but as far as I know, maybe I read a wrong source, but I heard that it was not an actual thing. It's fictional.
Okay, that's interesting.
Is Doherty a real person?
Shannon Doherty?
I don't know. I used to do
Shannon
stand-up at
I
the
think
Dick
she's a real
Doherty's
person.
Comedy Vault,
Yeah, I'm not
so I know
sure.
Dick Doherty's a real person.
Either way, breaking the Doherty threshold is under 400 milliseconds.
Right. It's a big deal, and it's a big enough deal that Joe's getting really jazzed, you know.
Super jazz.
Super jazzed.
I've never seen him this
jazzed.
excited.
Right? So you know, he goes down to camera, he asks her, you know, when are you going to be done with the rest of it? And even she's in a good mood. Like, everybody's in a good mood for once. It's a relief, quite frankly. And, you know, she says, I'll have it done in 31.92 hours and 2 nanoseconds. She's you know, kidding around, but, you know, roughly 2 days. And Joe says, I'm going to call a team building meeting. And she's like, what? in almost like the tone that I feel like two people who are sleeping together would like have with each other, that's like friendly and like, you know, close and kind of like cute in a way that doesn't really make sense for them as people.
It was kind of out of character for both of them.
Well, I guess they're just, things are going so well that they're dropping the hostility and the neuroses for just a moment and, you know, are being kind of normal. Until we get into this team building meeting and Joe is just spouting off more of this just like canned garbage. Like, it's so false sounding.
Yeah.
You know, like now that we really have a much better idea of who he is, all of this kind of like fluff like sounds more fake than it did in the first couple of episodes. Am I off base here?
No, it was just a soundbite. Like, it definitely, the reporter called it out later where it just sounded like he'd read a lot of things and he had heard people talk about this stuff, but he didn't really understand any of it or really have any meaning behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's taught himself the words he needs to know, like the Doherty threshold.
Right.
Apparently it's made up, so maybe it goes
Could be wrong.
further.
Maybe if there was an expert in the room, do you know anything about this?
About the monologue he had.
Or the Doherty threshold. Is this a real
I don't know
thing?
anything about the Doherty threshold.
Okay.
But I will comment on the monologue where he's trying to, you know, during the team meeting. I actually thought it was quite interesting about the fact that it responds so quickly, and that's been a big change, like that hasn't been around before, and you get glued to it. And I actually think it's interesting because that's the beginning of like how we are now.
Absolutely.
With our phones and everything. And it's, for me, I was like, yeah, my character in the 80s, it's like, I have no idea what that is yet, that feeling.
Yeah, and that addiction. What I love most about it is he's like, and it will improve productivity across the board when it's done the exact opposite.
Yeah, it will not do that.
Little did he know, cat videos.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it will improve the quality of cat videos and
Candy
babies.
Crush.
Yeah. Candy Crush as well.
Sure. Clash of Clans.
Let's just pitch all of our favorite games.
Angry Birds.
Okay, there you go.
Got it first.
Okay.
Do you actually like Angry Birds, or are you just saying it because people know it?
I hate that game.
Oh, classic.
Don't
betray
I
your
really wish you
principles.
hadn't brought that up, Matt.
That's all right.
It's a sore subject.
So,
Well, actually, a thing about that speech as well is he was like, say goodbye to your families and like everything like that. And those are all things that Joe doesn't have.
Yeah.
So it's like he's building a utopia for himself with this computer.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't,
because he is a computer.
Is Joe a computer?
Yeah.
Is that the running theory?
I
He's a
think
robot?
so.
I think his actual name is Hal, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So he's a robot.
Well, I mean, the look that he gives Bosworth when he burns that BIOS could be worthy of a cold calculating machine.
Can we talk about the burning of the Bible?
Yeah, and so he brings it out, and we get to see our old buddy, our lawyer friend Barry. And he's like, oh, you're gonna contaminate everyone. Maybe you should take that off the floor. And everybody's like panicking, like he's holding a gun. And
He was.
Yeah.
It was the gun to their career.
Their Bible.
Effectively.
Yeah.
And so he drops it in a trash can and squirts all this lighter fluid all over it. And I'm just like, oh man, because we remembered from the preview from last week of what was going to happen. And I'm like, you don't want to burn that, buddy. You might need that at some point, And he just goes and burns it. And they're all excited and they're clapping over the flames like I don't know. It's so weird. Like that wouldn't happen in an office now. I feel like
Joe just
Cardiff
mean
is
mugs.
just any office.
That's true.
Yeah.
So tell us what it's like, working on the set and being a part of this environment. I mean, obviously there's a lot of like heavy drama going on, but you get a lot of great kind of comedic moments as well.
Yeah, Debbie is just the Texas sweetheart. She's just a nice, kind soul, and it's, they're from different places. Like Joe is from New York and Gordon's from California, and then she has like Bosworth and Maylene, like Nathan, that are all Texas people. But it's kind of an experience for her, like working with these different people. And but as far as being on set and working in the office, the detail that the AMC like puts into everything, like when I showed up to work and I sat down at my desk, they thought I should have like a butterfly like paper clip holder, and like Debbie loves butterflies, they decided, and it's just like, or I had like a unicorn letter opener, and like nothing I had discussed with them, but it was so appropriate to Debbie that it was just like the set is kind of cool, like the little details they put in everywhere.
Absolutely.
Are we gonna get any more Debbie Cameron scenes? Because that clash when they first met.
Oh, it was so much fun.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the look that you give her when you tell her like where she can go get her clothes.
I was just trying to help sister out.
Sure.
They have a 3-for-1 sale. That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
It's like they don't even speak the same language. Though.
Yeah.
I really wish we would have seen them hanging out.
Me bathing her. Maybe.
I really wanted to see Debbie trying to tell Cameron to put on a bra. That was what I needed to see.
Well, let's talk about it. So before we get to that scene, of course, Joe lets also one other nugget drop before he sets the BIOS ablaze, that they're going to have a reporter from the Wall Street Quarterly coming to do a story about little old them and the little machine that could. He's bolstering everyone's spirits, and he's getting ready for it. As we learn, later on in the episode, this whole whole sequence is one big calculated move. He knows that this guy is not going to be interested in what they have to say. And it makes even more sense now why he was even more kind of like dull and rote when he was explaining all of the technical specs to him. It's like we know that Joe is a better salesman than this. It feels off, which makes it, I think, all the more thrilling after you know what he's really up to.
I wonder
he's
if
playing into it so well.
I wonder if that was really the BIOS. I wonder if he did it to set up everyone emotionally, because that's their fallback.
Was it the BIOS? I don't know. You were there.
Like he knows like that's their setup, and like that's their fallback. If anything bad happens, like they still have that BIOS. So I wonder if it was even the BIOS that he burned, or if it was just something that looked like the BIOS. Because
it made me wonder how they're not allowed to use the BIOS.
Yeah.
Why do they still, like, why didn't it get taken away from them to begin with?
Because taking it away then acknowledges that it exists.
Right. Like it's still their property.
Yeah, it doesn't exist.
It's not supposed to exist.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that does raise an interesting question. Is Joe crazy enough to work without a net, essentially?
I think, everything that we've seen thus far goes to show that he has planned a lot of this out, but not everything.
Yeah.
He still has room to be surprised. So I think he very much is operating without a net.
Yeah, well, if he burns the BIOS, essentially he's like, well, we're going to make it regardless. He might be crazy enough to do that.
I think so, too. I think it's entirely possible, but I love the idea that he did fake the whole thing, because
I like that.
as we learn every week, he is a big line faker.
Yeah. Every week we think he's not a line faker, and every week we are proved wrong every time.
He's
just a liar.
Time. So he takes a peek at Cameron's workspace again, and he has a thought, and he corners Debbie in the copy room, and you have this great moment where you're like, I got these donuts for a reporter to make us look nice.
Very helpful. Yeah.
And he asks way too much of you. He's overstepping his bounds and saying, you have to tell this person who ultimately I think maybe ranks higher than you in the company.
Cameron.
Yeah, Cameron, to shower and put on a bra. It's way out of line.
Yeah, Debbie's a little scared to do it.
Yeah. So tell me what it was like shooting this scene with Lee.
Well, Lee is a great actor, and so I didn't know what was going to happen or anything like that. And I remember he just kept getting closer and closer to my face, and it's just like such a Joe thing to just kind of get in
invade
there and
personal space.
Personal space and make you feel uncomfortable, and then catch you off guard and ask you a question, and it's just okay, So, but it was a lot of fun. I mean, I have to say the pastry line is probably my favorite line
I got donuts.
I've ever gotten.
I was going to actually comment on that it seems like in a lot of scenes he gets really close to people and in their space, and I didn't know if that was just that was Lee, or if that's a specific character choice to make you uncomfortable, because clearly Debbie seems really uncomfortable in this shot.
I definitely think it's a character choice that he made that Joe does.
It seems like one of those things that would be in how to be a good manager, and like to show your dominance. Because there are those books that tell you get chairs that are low to the ground and have your chair higher up, so that you can show dominance. We are showing.
Joe definitely read all those books.
I'm sure he has all of those books.
He wrote those books.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. I don't know if he has that creativity.
I want to work in that office.
We know that you do.
For what reason, Yael? Could you tell us?
Apparently, he gets really into.
Where's HR?
Right?
It's the 80s. There is no HR.
Yeah, well, HR would have had a fit about the book burning for sure.
Sexual harassment doesn't even exist.
Yeah.
But Debbie showed some backbone in that scene, though, because she said, "You're the boss. You can."
Yeah.
Can you do it?
I guess Debbie and Joe, Debbie kind of I don't know. They have an interesting relationship. Yeah. And she's like the only one who kind of cares about him in the office. I feel like, you know, and yeah, I feel like he kind of, you know, she's his secretary. They kind of have like a.
Well, she's a very warm person. I feel like she has maybe more of an emotional side than anyone else in the office.
Yeah, like a real human side.
Yeah.
So.
But they're humans in that office?
No, we're all computers.
Yeah.
Turns out the big twist is they're all robots.
Yeah.
That's it.
How tall is Lee Pace, though? He looks like a giant.
He's real tall.
6'4" or something like that.
Yeah, him and like those power suits, it's a vision for Sora. Yeah.
Agreed.
I think Yael would like to hear a bit more about this
please
vision.
tell me more.
There's a lot going on with him. Yeah,
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on.
All right. Before we move on, I just want to talk really quickly about iTunes and just kick it to our founder Maria Menounos and her book. We've been talking about it every week because it is a great book. It is on the New York best-selling list. The Every Girl's Guide to Diet and Fitness. It's all about how she lost 40 pounds and kept it off. It's got lots of great recipes and exercises. And if you purchase the book, it helps us out. Some of that money comes back to us and helps us keep the doors open, the lights on. Another way that you can help us out, if you don't want to spend any money, you go to iTunes, you rate and review the shows that you listen to or that you watch on YouTube, and you get some great shout-outs. We got shout-outs for Jester Fox, 5 stars. ABTV got me to watch the show again. At first, I wasn't impressed by the Halt and Catch Fire pilot. After hearing ABTV's review of its second episode, I watched the third one and realized how complex these characters were and that I should invest more in them and in the plot. So thank you for reviewing these shows. It helps viewers get a second look at these new potential shows.
Wow.
So glad that we were able to get you back on board. We love this show, and we're glad that you like it too. AJCF, 5 stars from Man of Steel 98. You guys rock, and Isaac is every bit as handsome as you say he is. So this is somebody who apparently listened to a podcast and then had to know how handsome you were, and then watched another one.
Found out.
I gotta call my mom back. Later.
This isn't from your wife, right?
My wife would not be Man of Steel 98, I don't think.
I don't know if
She's more of a Batman fan?
She's more of like a Downton Abbey fan. I drag her to some superhero films.
Lady Mary Crawley 98.
I'm sure that's not her. Thank you so much for your comment. High School Isaac does not believe you, but
okay. Poor
I carry my scars on the inside, unlike Joe.
Yeah. So in any case, Debbie is able to get Cameron to leave her workspace for a little while and freshen up for this reporter. And Kane arrives, and he's not impressed by anything that he's seen. He's frankly bored. And as Joe brings him down to meet Cameron and to see the BIOS being written, it's very clear that the whole area has been tampered with. There is a power surge that completely wiped the computer, and Cameron is in meltdown mode because she doesn't remember the last time that she backed it up. All of the floppy disks have been degaussed. There's nothing remaining, and she's panicking, and very rightly so. This is the thing that she's been all-consuming her entire life for weeks and weeks and weeks, and it's kind of her only shot. You know, if she gets dumped by this company, if she ruins this, if this is all her fault, what does she have left? She doesn't have a home.
She left school.
Yeah. What is she going to be doing? She's going to be repairing VCRs just like she feared back in the pilot.
Yeah.
I feel like at this moment, everyone in the audience paused and went and backed up their computer.
Yeah.
I know I did.
Oh, man, I need to reconfigure my time machine settings.
I grabbed all of my floppy disks, put it into my A drive, and then threw it on the ground because it didn't work.
Unfortunately, all of my floppy disks just have Jazz Jackrabbit on them, and that's it.
Nice.
Just one game.
Nice. Oh, man.
I thought the scene really served to help remind us that Cameron's like a little kid. Like she, even though she acts kind of like rebellious and tough, she is just like, she's a kid. She was in college.
She's
when
22.
Joe found her. Yeah. When I was 22, if I had that much pressure, I would definitely break like she did as well.
100%.
Yeah.
Or that much money, you maybe. I mean, why doesn't she still have a place? I mean, $40,000 supposedly. This has been on my mind, but $40,000 in '83 is like $94,000 today.
Yeah,
she's making okay money. Let's get a place.
Because she hasn't had time to look for a place. She's busy writing BIOS code.
And she could save that money by living at the office.
Or by staying at Joe's.
Yeah.
Right.
That might be where she's at. It's $10,000 less than a berry.
It is.
It's true. We here at the show, we talk about money in units of berries.
Berry makes $55,000.
Yeah, $55,000 a year. So a berry is $55,000.
Oh, okay.
So
Donna is $15,000. It can't really be $40,000.
Right. Donna is roughly, she's a little less than a third of a berry. Right.
Yeah.
Before we get too deep into that, let's keep going, because we could talk about Barry forever. Yeah. So Gordon and Donna are still having friction, and with every passing episode, I get angrier and angrier at Gordon.
Yeah.
He takes such advantage of Donna. She's such an incredible woman, and her patience, is saintly at this point.
Yeah.
I can't believe that Joe didn't offer her a job.
Seriously, everything that she did, ultimately, he says he still had it in hand if she hadn't been able to pull it out. But still, the amount of skill and knowledge that it took to do what she did in this episode, I would have poached her easily. I mean, granted, they don't really have any money for new hires right now.
Yeah, that's true.
And she may be too smart to have around.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Trouble.
That Joe is kind of intimidated by her. That she's not only as smart as Gordon is,
smarter
than Gordon, probably smarter. But she is also aware enough to realize when she's being screwed and figuring things out. She totally CSI'd that room. Was like, "There's no carpet here. Why was anyone vacuuming?" And
that's a very fair point. Yeah.
But we had had that theory before that maybe everything Gordon has done has really been her that Gordon stole. And I think that this episode, Joe was able to see that may have actually been true. And I feel like he should have jumped on that opportunity. He could have fired Gordon.
But the thing is, Gordon is malleable. Gordon, will put up only so much resistance, and he trusts Joe enough that he's willing to go with it. I mean, look at this scene at the end, right? Donna tells Gordon about Joe's whole plan after he gave what I felt were pretty decent reasons not to say anything, at least for now. Decent in that, if we're trying to push through and make this thing happen as soon as possible, we need everyone to be on board and not to be doubting Joe's motives, even though they have every right to be, because the dude is shady as hell.
Yeah.
But even after Donna tells him everything, his reaction isn't, that snake. It's, well, did it work?
I wrote down that Gordon's in an abusive relationship with Joe.
Oh yeah.
That every time they even came to blows in the second episode.
Right.
The first episode. They're fighting and physically fighting, and Gordon just keeps going back.
It's true.
He knows Joe is bad for him. He knows that Joe would screw him over if it meant that the BIOS or the computer would be good, and he still keeps going back.
I'd argue, and maybe this is a loose definition, that Gordon and Donna's relationship is kind of a little abusive. Not necessarily,
I think so as well.
not physically and not necessarily, emotionally all the time, but it's basically, it's this push-pull effect. It's, I'm sorry, I'll do better. I'm having kind of a day. He consistently puts himself first, and no matter how many examples she puts to him of all the things that she does and all the things that he needs to be doing to be a part of this family, it doesn't faze him. It doesn't get through his thick skull.
Not at all. I mean, Donna continues to give him opportunities.
Are we about to go to Marriage Corner?
No.
Marriage Corner with Isaac Johnson.
Yeah.
Welcome to Married Man Corner. I'll be your host. I don't know.
We're doing this.
We can all do it.
The whole time. Okay.
While he does his thing.
Isaac,
hold on. Let me make this point first. Donna, she obviously has an opportunity to not tell Gordon the news, but because she is a good wife, she will tell him no matter what. She doesn't know Joe. She doesn't own any loyalty to Joe, so she's going to do that. Now, Gordon, on the other,
partnership.
it is a partnership. Well done, man.
Nice.
push-pull.
But Gordon refuses to learn from his wife's example, for one, and also when he's given the opportunity to be a good husband or just pick up the girls or even carry them to the car, he continues to miss these points, and he also misses that point at the end when he's So did it work? I'm like, Gordon, dude, do you ever want to get out of the doghouse? If you ever want to have some of that, home cooking, let's just say, you might not be getting it for quite some time with this kind of behavior.
I would agree.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
It was a great
That was a great
marriage
Are there
marriage
any
corner
questions for the host today?
Well, as a husband of a wife,
Of a wife, yes. Thank you for making that distinction. Thank you.
and married to her, your wife. Have you ever had times where like work has been like really stressful and like important, and you've dropped your husbandly duties, and what happens? What happens there?
Never. I don't think that has ever happened in
You're
the
good.
history of our 2-year marriage. I've been the model of perfection.
Mazel tov.
This entire time. By the way, don't ask her if
Yeah, the thing is, Gordon, he treats being married as an imposition, every element of it, and he openly airs jealousy about the girls trusting their mother more than him. But why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
She's the only one giving them positive attention.
Yeah.
So of course they're going to listen to her when she says wear the red socks and just be happy about it.
There was a sweet moment between them later on in the episode, though.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, when she's working on getting the BIOS back, and like he remembers like why he fell in love with her, and them destroying a bunch of motherboards.
Right, but then again, he once again is like putting all of the negative aspects of it on her.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I thought that was playful, though. I thought they were sort of having like we've had this sort of play fight before.
Right.
Who knocked it over? I knocked it over. You knocked it over.
We were introduced to the amazing term romantic urgency.
Yeah. I'm not sure exactly what that means.
I think you're very aware.
I think you know.
Well, I feel like Gordon's come a long way though from the beginning.
Sure.
Who knows what was going to happen to him?
Yeah.
Not much.
And so I think it's interesting how he's evolving.
Yeah.
I personally wish he'd evolve a little quicker and just pick up a few of the hints.
Well, he went from someone with zero mojo to someone with mojo, but only about this computer and this project. And like there was like a second where
Joe gave him back some mojo.
Yeah.
Well, he's self-actualizing, but all of his energy is going into his career, and he's not able to give any back. Even though, as Donna puts it, I think it's very fair to say, I make your life happen.
A great moment.
That was a really good speech.
Yeah, fantastic. So,
Great moment.
When Donna comes into the office, Joe is adamant that she leave, all an act, because at first we're like, why is he so upset? Like, I get that you're under a lot of stress. And yes, she does work for a rival, but he's just like being incredibly negative towards her.
He's got to play the part.
He's got to play the part.
And he wanted to be the hero. We found out later that he knew that like if they didn't recover the BIOS, he was going to come in and be the hero last minute. Joe would love to play the hero.
Wouldn't he?
Yeah.
I sort of start to wonder, is he, like in the show in general, is he our hero? Because he doesn't have any...
I kind of think Donna is the hero.
She very much is.
She is the hero.
She's the voice of reason. She gives a good pep talk to Cameron. I mean...
I feel like, and I'm not trying to go into predictions, but I feel like our heroes are going to be Cameron and Donna together. Maybe that is...
And Debbie.
And Debbie, of course. Of course. I apologize.
She's right there.
I met Aunt Debbie. Oh, God. I'll stop talking.
Yeah. So, moving on, just for the sake of time. So, she goes down to meet Cameron, and their first encounter since the first time they met is very tense, to say the least, because Cameron is like racked with self-pity, and Donna is trying to be pragmatic, but Cameron is just putting up this wall of resistance. So she goes to the, I can see why you had to sleep with your boss to get your job, and she's like, I'm still sleeping with him. Yeah, I'm not gonna finish that word because it's a podcast. We have sponsors. Trying not to swear.
Whatever, good for Cameron.
Yeah, well, good for sticking up for herself. But they both make some valid points, perhaps.
Yeah.
Sure, it's definitely more still Cameron acting like a child, though, just completely refusing any help. She actually came in there to help her and use some kind words, and then she didn't even want to accept it from the get-go.
Right.
Yeah. So then they turned on each other.
Yeah. And Cameron retreats to the roof, where for a hot second I was like, is she thinking about jumping? crying. Like, she was very, very distraught.
She was bummed.
You know, she's up there figuring life out. Joe comes up to meet her. It brings a peace offering of a roof sandwich.
Yeah.
Roof sandwich.
And, you know, she's kind of too in her own head to eat it. Meanwhile, Donna and Gordon and the gang are trying to figure out how to recover the BIOS, and Donna is just on top of it. She figures out how to remove the layers from the disk drive, and that they're going to go through it bit by bit, micron by micron, to find the FAT 32, the part of it where all of the files apparently are.
The file allocation table.
Allocation table.
I wrote it down because I wrote "fat?" question mark, because I said it a bunch of times before they explained what it was.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, as anyone who's partitioned a hard drive when they have a PC and a Mac, you know, you have the FAT 32, which is the MS-DOS, the Windows side of it, and you have the Macintosh side of it.
Yeah. I like how she came in and kind of big dogged all the engineers.
I loved it.
They came in and they just kept on like throwing problems at her, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna do this," and they're like, "Oh, yeah." That's a great idea.
Yeah, and maybe one of the better moments from Gordon as a husband, he just kind of watches his wife like, that's my girl, and I'm like, all right, bud, you're noticing it now.
Yeah, and he gives her all these compliments. He's laying it on thick, and the guys are like, man, he's in the
Somebody's in the doghouse.
Yeah. And so Cameron comes down. They're having an argument about who watches the kids, because they're both focusing on the computer. And Cameron offers to watch the kids, and I feel like it's kind of extending an olive branch, letting her watch the kids. It's first of all, it's a relief because neither of them can pay attention to these kids while they're working on the computer, but also just saying, you know, I know that right now you feel like nobody trusts you. I'm going to trust you with the most important thing to me, you know, because I have to, but also because I want you to know some people still have faith in you. I think she sees that she needs a boost.
Yeah.
And at first, it's working out fine. She's spraying confiscated tickle spray.
It's Bianca.
What is
it? Banaka.
Yeah, that's
I was
Bianca.
called that all throughout.
Were you?
Yeah, I was.
Oh, wow. We're sorry to bring up some painful memories, Jessie.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Thanks, guys. They should have told you about that.
If there are any other things that we can tease you with, let us know now.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah. Banaka, yeah.
I forgot that stuff even existed.
Yeah, I was like, if there isn't a thing that can make Banaka more creepy sounding, it's calling it tickle spray.
Tickle spray, yeah, a little weird. And then she goes for real tickles, which, considering that they're strangers, again, a little weird, but
still way better.
Yeah, it's way better than tickle spray.
She's making
like
an
the
effort.
age of a babysitter to them. I think it was totally
okay.
It was totally fine, guys.
I'm wary about all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's who I am.
That's because you're guys.
True.
Okay.
Very true.
Is that true?
I mean, I think that was a nice little side of Cameron. I think she
Yeah.
has that in her.
Right? There was a lot of warmth there that we hadn't really seen.
And then she's also, you know.
Yeah.
I'd like that we finally got to see that for her character, other than just being angsty or
Edgy.
or edgy.
Edgy is the word.
See what happens when you
edgy.
put a bra on? You start being nice to
I
people.
still feel like there was no bra. There was a hair washing, which apparently Debbie was very convincing to have to go
Yeah.
and
But the bra
take a shower. No.
It seemed
Impossible.
like at the end she was wearing one.
It looked like there was.
I was checking.
I would like to say
I
that.
think it was really cold that day.
Yeah, I would like to say that I was not paying attention. If anyone is listening,
We get it, Isaac.
Okay.
You have a wife. You don't look at other women. We get it.
Are there women in this room? I can't even.
Yes, there are. It's rude to think that they're not here.
You guys?
I get that a lot, but no, I am not a woman.
Okay.
You may
No, I'm
get
not married.
slapped later.
It was
Yeah.
the facial hairs. I can't see them because I'm married.
So,
Whatever.
one of the girls let slip. She's like, "You're nice. You're not white trash at all." And Cameron's like, "What?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh no, Mommy and Daddy were making a joke. We're
Yeah, they were
joking.
laughing.
They were laughing so hard." And Cameron
At your
just kind
expense.
of, snap, and she snatches up.
Wait, she snapped someone's neck? Is that?
No, she
Killed one of the girls. Did you miss that? She killed
I
one.
missed that scene.
She murdered one of the
Turning
children.
into Game of Thrones.
Yeah, what happened?
No, it's just like a switch
You
flip.
said she. I thought that was the next.
That is a switch flipping.
Okay.
Yes.
Maybe we could flip a switch this
Fine.
way.
Switch flipping. That's a lever.
It's a lever.
It's a lever. So she grabs Donna's purse and she looks at the driver's license. She figures out where she lives, and she steals her car.
You skipped the moment where she scares the kids.
Oh yeah, with the fire.
Yeah. the
Also,
fine.
that moment just gives credence to the theory that all little girls are evil, right? Like,
What?
they're just
Because they're
creepy
afraid
and
of
evil.
fire?
No, like the part before where they're like doing the Children of the Corn thing, where they're like,
Oh yeah,
yes.
she's petting her doll in the room for some reason.
Well, no, where it's like, yes, mommy and daddy said that you are trash, but you're not trash. And, like, the other girl was like, no, they were laughing. It was a joke. Like, it was really creepy.
I don't think it was meant to be that way.
Yeah,
I don't either.
I
Yeah.
thought it was a choice.
That's a
I thought it was
personal
Yeah.
reading. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they were being genuine.
So she goes to Gordon and Donna's to mess some stuff up and get out some angst.
Oh, man.
Call me white trash, I'll trash your house and paint it white. Boom. She grabs a can of spray paint from the garage.
She grabbed
and
the shovel first.
She grabbed a shovel, and then she thought better of it. She grabbed some spray paint, and she's trying to figure out what she's going to tag in the house. And just before she goes and tags the painting, Brian stumbles in. And I love the first bit with him as Gordon was peeling out of the driveway, and he's just leering at him in this bathrobe, black socks, sandals.
Sandals, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
And he's like, hi, have a great day at work.
Don't work too hard.
Yeah.
I got the feeling he wasn't being genuine. I don't know. It just makes sense.
Well, we see that come out later because he storms into their house with a shotgun.
Yeah.
Can we just all agree he was coming in there to murder the entire family?
That's what it seemed
He
like.
could have seen Cameron, or I mean, maybe not.
I think he was neighborhood watch, guys. I think he came in because he thought someone was breaking in.
I don't know, because I feel like he would have had more of a negative response to Cameron being in the house.
Well, because he knew her.
He does know her.
Yeah, and he thinks that she was
He thought she was
Fired.
she was
too.
fired, so he's like, oh, it's a shared thing, and so like, it could either be a murder situation or it could be, but he does say like this is
Choose
the
your own
gun is only
adventure.
for gun is only for bad guys, like so I think he was coming in to.
Does he think Gordon's a bad guy?
I think he thinks Gordon is a very bad guy.
Okay,
I don't think he would kill Gordon.
I don't
We
know.
had this conversation last week, by the way.
About Joe.
And I think this episode proves Joe would kill someone if they were in his way.
Oh, I agree he'd kill someone. I don't think he'd kill Gordon.
I don't know that Brian came over for murder. I think he came over with some ill intentions for sure, but it seemed weird.
I think he has snapped and he was gonna murder that
He
entire
certainly seems to have had a character change in his demeanor.
Yeah, well, I mean, this job was all he had. What if his wife is I'm pretty sure after he lost his job, his wife left him, and now he is just balls crazy. That is what I think.
About how crazy is balls crazy? I'm not
Balls
sure.
crazy is just above pure nuts.
Kind of sounds like the same.
No, they're
thing.
two completely different
those
things.
are different things.
Okay,
Yeah.
clearly I'm not aware of these things.
Yes. I think Cameron, in this moment, she realizes this is crazy.
Yeah.
This is what I could become.
Right.
I should stop.
Right. I could be the guy. I could be someone storming into a house, to potentially murder or at least intimidate some people with a shotgun. And this guy considers me good company.
Right.
I should go back.
Also, he talks about how they're never going to create this computer and like all the things that they're not going to do, and maybe she takes some personal stock in that she knows that she can build this computer and that she can do, and maybe there's going to be all these naysayers out there and she wants to prove them wrong. Maybe.
I like this. I like this idea. This is good.
Thank you.
And he encourages her to tag the house.
Yeah.
Yeah. He tells her to write the usual. What is the usual?
You know.
Screw you. I'm in your house.
It's crazy talk, you know. They're like, we're crazy. It's cool.
The usual
or just the words, the usual.
I just don't understand. The kids said, hey, they think you're trash. They think you're a bad person and that they look down upon you. So what does she do? She decides to steal a car, break into their house, and tag it. Like, well, maybe there's a reason they think that about you.
When you're self-pitying and someone insults you, I feel like the urge is to play into it to make you feel even worse about yourself.
Yeah.
I feel like that made sense to me completely for her character.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you think I'm like trash?
Yeah,
I'll show you why you're
It
trash.
made sense for a character. I'm saying it was dumb.
Sure.
Yeah.
Also, I've not had an orange soda in 3 days.
Oh my gosh. Yes, we got an orange soda call out, which
19
was
orange
great.
sodas.
So happy.
Yes.
Blood sugar's low. What am I gonna do? Wreck somebody's house?
Yes.
Been drinking water and coffee.
Yeah. So ultimately, she comes back. The PC is saved. The BIOS is saved thanks to Donna's work. She got 93.6% of the BIOS back up and running, and Cameron comes back to finish it. And they have this nice moment in the parking lot where Donna says, yeah, I saved your butt today, but that code that you wrote, I could never have done something like that. It was like a piece of music. And I loved seeing these two women, see each other in a positive way for the first time, and it leads me back to your point of like ultimately these two are our heroes, and I totally love that idea.
We also skipped over the part where Donna gets screwed by Gordon when she recovers it, and like
Susan Fairchild.
Yeah, Susan Fairchild, and then they immediately start talking about the guy engineers, like and
how they saved the company and saved the BIOS.
Yeah, Gordon makes sure he gets the spelling of his name right or something.
Yeah.
Sexism.
Yes. Casual sexism.
Gordon.
Right there.
It was pretty aggressive sexism.
Yeah.
I mean, on Gordon's part.
Yeah.
Everyone else was just kind of like, this is how things go.
Culturally.
Yeah. Cultural sex.
Yeah.
I like the.
Think twice about it, probably.
Yeah.
Not even.
I like that we wrote a really good scene for two females are leads in this thing. Like a really strong scene where they're not really talking about the guys; they're just relating to each other.
Yeah.
Bechdel test.
Bechdel test.
Yeah, I thought it was nice. And Donna's olive branch back to Cameron again.
Exactly. And we end the episode with Cameron finishing the BIOS and backing it up a bunch of times, and finally cracking a smile that's like satisfied. We have still a few more scenes we need to talk about. We need to talk about John Bosworth.
Oh yeah.
And his scene with Nathan Cardiff. So what was that call like? Come over for breakfast. I need to show you a horse I need to shoot. It's lame, and I'm gonna put it down and make a point. Yet another animal death.
By the way, breakfast is just me smoking a cigar.
That's a Texas breakfast, right?
Yeah.
Cigars and sausage, because he mentions his wife's sausage.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
Sorry.
Really?
The way you said
can't
that.
be a professional.
No. You said.
You can't say wife sausage without a laugh.
Yeah, his wife's sausage. What?
It's my favorite brand of
Thank
sausage.
you.
Okay.
I say it so casually.
All right.
And
We know who the heroes of this podcast.
basically, Nathan is trying to galvanize him by making this very clear point that it seems like Joe has everything in hand. You screwed up with this Lulu thing. She won't call me back after 3 weeks, and every time that I bring up something that has gone wrong, you make an excuse out of it involving Joe. Stop using him as the reason that things aren't going well and take control, or I'll put you down just like this horse.
That could be the symbolism there, perhaps.
I think so. I think it's pretty overt.
I don't know. It's a little unclear for me, but
A lot of animal deaths.
This horse is useless. I am murdering it with a gun.
yeah, I'll shoot you
If you
faster
are
than this horse.
useless,
And also, I don't even need to do it myself.
Yeah.
I have men who live on my ranch to do do it for me.
Yeah, I like the name that he referred, the phrase that he refers to Lulu as after he's like a redneck sack of goat sperm, which I'm like, oh, if I had a nickel for every time
someone said that,
you would have a nickel.
I would have no money at all.
Well, I guess you'd have 2 nickels because you just said it.
Yeah.
We didn't call call him that.
True.
He said every time someone called him that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah,
So
especially the redneck part, because I know I fit that too. Like,
Sure.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Don't say it. He'll spray paint your house.
Kane goes to Bosworth's office while, you know, Donna and Gordon are working on the BIOS, and he tries to needle him and prod and try to get him to turn on Joe and talk about how this guy, you know, basically took over his company. And Bosworth stands up to him, steely resolve, and, you know, is basically like, screw you, now get out of my office before I punch you in the face. And I loved it. It's great.
Especially since Kane has been calling Joe on everything he's been saying has been BS, like the entire time. And you can tell that Bosworth, nothing he says ever is BS. Like, it's always straight to the point. And it's like he's clearly dealing with a whole different animal when he's dealing with Bosworth. Which I think is really interesting, seeing those two dynamics.
Yeah, also seeing him kind of stick up for the company more so than Joe, I guess. But nice to see him have that backbone there.
Yeah, don't mess with Texas.
Gotta get it back.
Yeah.
Nathan will come after him.
He has been given the warning.
So, you know, Joe leaves the office thoroughly satisfied with himself. You know, Donna calls him on these discs. She realizes that they're all frauds. One of them had a spreadsheet, one had a game on it.
Jackrabbit.
You know, and you know, Gordon basically says, you know, or sorry, Joe basically says, you caught me, but here's the reason why you shouldn't expose me. And she's like, you know, you really put Cameron, the woman you're sleeping with, through all that, and he's like, she'll get over it.
Yeah.
He really places no value on the people around him other than what they can accomplish for him.
Another great moment for Joe and women right there. He's such a
He's so progressive and good.
He's really just kind of masterminded this whole emotional feeling that The Office has, though. Like, this again is another huge win for them.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like we probably missed a Joe speech where he talked about how everyone like pulled together and really like brought this through, and they got a big win.
Yeah, I mean, this is yet another chapter, in Joe's big book of management. And he speeds home in his beautiful Corvette, and he gets Porsche, and he gets pulled over.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think he was speeding this time.
Maybe he wasn't.
I think
He might have been going a little fast.
Yeah.
He did say I was going.
He has a habit of going
I
fast.
don't think Joe ever goes the speed limit.
Yeah. And he gets pulled over by these Texas sheriffs who ask him for license and registration, and then completely unprovoked, they pretend to see a gun, they pretend that he hit him, and then they just beat the snot out of him.
You saw him hit me, right?
Yeah.
All right.
All right, great. Let's beat him.
Yeah.
And, you know, so I think there's two schools of thought on this, and tell me if I'm missing a third one.
There's a third one. Go ahead.
There's a third one.
Yeah.
All right. Either they just hate Yankees and just want an excuse to beat on a Yankee, or I personally believe, because of the gay element, that Lulu sicked these corrupt sheriffs on him, because you know, she has an axe to grind, and they probably don't take kindly to gay people.
There was definitely a third theory. It was Bosworth who set them because I'm stealing your thunder.
Yeah.
He was threatened by Cardiff, and he had to put Joe in his place.
Yeah, he had to do a show of power.
See, I didn't see it that way.
And he comes into the police station.
I know. Police station.
Yeah, he doesn't even talk to him.
Yeah.
He knows both the arresting officers. He was doing a power play. He's talking to the arresting officers about like their kids.
Right.
That boy's got an arm like Nolan Ryan.
Yeah. He's saying, these are my guys. These are my friends. I'm the one who set this all up.
Yeah.
See, I just think there was shock on his face when he saw what they'd done to him.
Maybe he didn't expect that show of violence, perhaps. Maybe something like that. But I think he definitely was
It was hard for him to do it a little bit.
Yeah.
He had to.
I think that's all very fair, and I'm probably wrong.
I just think, to me, it had to be Bosworth, and he has to be sort of issuing a warning that he's really the one in control there.
I mean, I thought it was Lulu to begin with because I thought she was just mad about what he did. And then I saw Bosworth, and I was like, nope, it is definitely
all right.
that one.
Sweet.
And theory number 4, there were many rooms trashed in this thing.
That's true.
I think a room was trying to get back and trash Joe this time.
Possible. Okay. I want to just talk with you, Bianca, about your experiences on the show. Now, when did you first go in for this show? How long ago was it?
We started shooting in November.
November.
Yeah.
Okay. And how many episodes episodes are there this season? Is it a full
10?
It's 10 episodes.
Yeah.
Okay. So what was your favorite experience working on set this season?
Oh man. There were so many of them. I mean, really, it was just the opportunity to work with AMC and work with all the great directors and the great actors and producers. It was like, whoa, this is really freaking cool. So, yeah, and it's like a well-oiled machine, and just to be on set, and then everything's top-notch. I mean, like the set dressing to the costumes to everything, they really do a great job. And also, it was fun that they didn't really know where Debbie was going, or and then I kind of just showed up and had fun with it, and they wrote me that scene in the copy room, and that was really cool. It was like, oh, Debbie got a scene, like Debbie gets a bigger scene, So it's cool as a reoccurring character to see how you get included in things and what develops, once you show up, and then they see you, and then they write different stuff for you. So that's cool.
Yeah, because you definitely made an impression the first time that you showed up. So obviously they felt the same way.
I was just like, I was in it. From the beginning. Yeah, I was like, Debbie.
So we can expect to see a lot more of Debbie.
Well, I am in the whole first season.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Great.
Yeah.
Is there any experience like as far as the on-set atmosphere in between scenes? What's that like?
I mean, all the regulars, they're very interesting, as you can tell from their characters, they all have very interesting, intense characters, and so it's a very interesting dynamic being on set.
What's Toby like off camera?
Toby's the funniest person in the whole world.
Sure.
He will improvise, and just some of the stuff that he said, it was just the funniest stuff I've ever heard. He's amazing. Yeah. He definitely is amazing.
Awesome. Yeah. So, can you tell us anything about what's to come? Any favorite moments that you've had, or an episode coming up that you think is really great that you're excited for people to see?
Next week's episode is really good. They're all great. They're all interesting and unexpected and weird, and it's just really, you don't know what to expect. It's fresh. I mean, every time I would get a script, I'd be like, what? That happened? Oh my God. So it takes so many different twists and turns. Yeah, the whole first season.
And you're from East Texas, so
I am.
How do you feel like this show represents Texas in general? You grew up there?
Yeah. No, I mean, I was born in the 80s, so Texas in the 80s, but yeah, I think it does represent my character, the Southern hospitality growing up in Texas. I feel like that's a real thing, whereas people from, different places come in and interact with that, and it's interesting.
Yeah. So what else are you working on? Do you have anything that's coming up that you want people to know about?
Yes, I do. I actually have a web series that's coming out this Thursday. It's called Valley Girls. So we have a YouTube channel, but we're launching it on social media, so you can check my Twitter page. It's B Malinowski 007.
Can you spell that for the folks at home who are listening?
So B MALI, N as in Nancy, OWSKI, and then 007.
Okay.
And then the Twitter for the show is Valley Girls 818.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah. All right, thank you so much for coming on the show. We're so happy that we had
you. Thank you for having me. It was really great.
All right, let's do a quick round of predictions before we go.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
All right, so looks like next week we get some more conflict between John and Joe. Joe is too damaged to swing his baseball bat around his apartment. We get to see finally Joe's father, also called Joe McMillan, finally on the scene. He meets Cameron. What are we thinking? How are we feeling?
Well, going with my theories before, I think father for Joe McMillan actually means maker, and it's the person who invented the robot that is Joe McMillan.
Sure. We're going to stay on this train.
Yeah.
Okay.
She did not say that wasn't a possible outcome, by the way. Look at that.
I don't know. That looks like an admission.
Tight lip. That's the AMC. It's the AMC shrug.
It's locked down over there.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm going to make a safe prediction. We're going to see more braless Cameron and more shirtless
Very
Joe.
safe. That's very safe.
Pretty
That's
safe.
so safe.
Also, orange soda and computers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's going to be words that people are going to say.
Something
There
about a
might be
bios.
music.
Oh, there are some fun new characters
Oh, great.
coming next episode.
Oh, wonderful. Are they sticking around?
Yeah, they'll be, yeah.
Any more braless women?
No, nothing about the braless women.
Any more shirtless men
You're
that
so
look like
stuck
Joe?
on both of these.
I
There
am.
may be some shirtless
Hey,
men.
Gordon was shirtless this episode.
Yeah,
we
come
didn't
on,
get
let's
any
talk about the
comments on that.
beefcake that Scoot
What happened,
McGarry.
Yael?
I'm sorry, have you guys seen Lee Pace?
Yeah, we've also
Yeah.
seen Scoot. My boy
Yes,
Scoot looked
okay,
good.
Bianca has smelled him, I think.
Yeah.
Because he's very close to her.
Yeah.
There must be.
Yeah. Isaac, any predictions?
The only prediction. Sorry. The only prediction I had was just that, like, oh crap, I forgot it.
All right.
Tweet it out.
That's fine. I'm really excited to see what Joe Sr. brings to the table. Very excited for next week. Jesse, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at JessKlein1.
Okay, and Yael?
You can find me online at yael.tv. There you can find info about the beautiful stylings from Siren Boudoir. You can also find me on Twitter at Yael Tyygiel. That's YaelTygiel.
Okay, and Isaac?
You can find me on Twitter at Isaac Johnson. That's ISAACJOHNSON, and Instagram, The Isaac Johnson. You can also check out my album on iTunes called All the Things We Are.
Okay, and you can find me on Twitter at Matt Lieberman. That's MattLieberman. You can also find all my videos for SourceFed and SourceFed Nerd on YouTube. And also, if you're in LA and you love live sketch comedy, you can come see Jesse and I perform as members of DJ Fawcett Saturday, July 5th at the Kirk Douglas Theater at 8 p.m. It's going to be an amazing show. We're so excited about it. Thank you all so much for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Thank you,
Good night.
Bianca.
Thank you, Bianca.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.